My service learning project was completed at Far North Queensland Scouts, the Northern Beaches Hub. This was an independent planning project. My aim for this project was to effectively plan 2 units for both for the Cubs. Cubs is a scouting program that is aged for children between 8 to 10 years old. When I got together with the leaders, they ran through all of the learning tools they use. This guides their planning for each lesson. They also have a little scouting book, which is yellow, and each lesson that is planned must align with the stuff in the yellow book to ensure that students can get signed off. They must receive 10 signatures in their book under each section before they can receive an overall badge. This gets presented once they have completed each section. My unit plans for this task were finalised within my 3-week time slot, and each member of the Scouts leadership and volunteer team read the final copies and advised me on things to change, and then they were submitted. One of the many projects developed within the units that I have planned incorporates Scouts and their local community. For this project, they are going to be giving back to their local community by planning a raised greenhouse for their residents of Quorra Aged Care. By doing this, they are playing the role of active, informed citizens who are active within their local communities. Before ongoing my service learning project, I wrote up learning goals, 3 of them. The first one was learn new ways of mentoring students to create a sustainable future. The second was compile a unit plan on a subject I am new to. And the third, to educate students on how to become active and informed citizens. My first goal, learn new ways of mentoring students to help them create a sustainable future, was ongoing whilst completing my service learning project, as I learnt new strategies and pedagogies from volunteers and members of the F&Q Scouts Hub to add to my lesson plans to help foster and mentor students in the direction of them playing a role in creating a sustainable future for all. The second goal, compile a unit plan on a subject I am new to, ended up being the most important goal for me during this placement. This is because I was completely stepping out of my comfort zone and learning something about a topic, scouting, that I had never touched on before. I believe I was successful in compiling a unit plan for the Scouts Cubs program, and the feedback I received from the organisation and leaders was positive. Educate students on how to become active and informed citizens. From this goal, I learnt that it is vital to educate our students on how to become active, informed citizens, as this skill is crucial for their future, and I believe that having this skill will lead our world to a better place. Whilst on my service learning, I also had an unintended learning goal, which was during my time at F&Q Scouts. I learnt that there is a huge focus on health and well-being of their students. 50% of their lessons taught the students on how to be healthy and active. Because I learnt this so early on, I was able to plan for students to take part in a range of health and wellbeing activities, which I implemented every week, even if it was only touched on for 5 minutes, as I believe this is a truly important skill for them to have. Sustainability. From my time at F&Q Scouts, I gained an insight to the various ways sustainability was implemented within the learning and community partnerships. A quote from Scouts Australia: part of our curriculum is to be committed to creating a better world, and Scouts Australia has appointed an Assistant National Commissioner of Sustainability. It is an important step to ensuring our environmental, economic and social impact aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals and community expectations. According to ACARA 2007, a sustainable community is essential for further development and growth within our forever increasing population. The UN, United Nations, Sustainable Developmental Goal number 4, quality education, was achieved throughout my project as lifelong learning opportunities are provided for the students of Scouts. This is done by volunteers like myself and all group leaders working together to use a variety of pedagogies for planning. Another UN goal that was achieved is goal number 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. This goal was achieved as there are multiple opportunities planned for the students of Scouts to take on projects such as Clean Up Australia Day to help reduce litter and rubbish in our communities. Another goal, partnerships to achieve goals, which is goal number 17, was also achieved through the community partnerships Scouting students have developed and continue to grow within local community organisations and in their regions. Curriculum links. The links that my service learning project has linked to was Year 4 Humanities and Social Science, Geography. The first one, the importance of environments, including natural vegetation to animals on people. Secondly, the use of management of natural resources and waste and the different views on how to do this sustainably. The general capabilities were personal and social capabilities, critical and creative thinking, ethnical understanding and intercultural understanding. The main cross-curriculum priority was sustainability, as education for sustainability develops the knowledge, skills, values and worldviews necessary for people to act in ways to contribute to more sustainable patterns of living. The Australian Professional Standards for Teachers that aligned with my project are the following standards. Standard 2.1, demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the concepts, substance and structure of the content and teaching strategies of the teaching area. During this project, I learnt about all aspects of Scouting, as I have had no experience with this organisation before. I gained knowledge in all learning areas Scouts have to offer while ensuring I played a role in creative, active, informing citizens. 2.3, use curriculum assessment and reporting knowledge to design learning sequences and lesson plans. I did this as I used the HASS curriculum in relation to Scouting. I also used this as backwards mapping from assessment tasks to designing learning sequence for all lesson plans. Standard 3.1, set learning goals that provide achievable challenges for students' varying abilities and characteristics. I was successful at achieving the goals for each lesson. I used differentiation from prep to grade 5 for the students of CUBS, as well as kinesthetic, auditory and visual elements. Standard 2.3, plan lessons using knowledge of student learning, content and effective teaching strategies. All lessons that I have planned were around the data collected from the previous year's CUBS, as 80% of the students this year have come from different groups and had not been yet met by the leaders. Standard 3.4, demonstrate knowledge of a range of resources, including ICT, that engage students in their learning. I incorporated resources such as YouTube videos, online learning games, creating your own website links throughout my lesson plans. I have used a range of ICT tools such as computers, iPads and programs, and Scouts can also program robots throughout their lessons. Lastly, Standard 6.3, seek and apply constructive feedback from supervisors and teachers to improve teaching practices. Once all the lesson plan drafts were finished, I sought after feedback from all volunteers, group leaders, and made changes where necessary. This will be further implemented when I go and volunteer my time to teach some of the lessons I have planned, and my teaching practices will then be evaluated and feedback will be given. The summary of my key learning. The key learnings that I took from this placement include the necessity to form strong relationships with community members and organisations within my local region. I believe volunteering with local community, I will gain relationships that I can then take with me onto my teaching pedagogies and use local community members from my community within the walls of my classroom. I believe strongly that these relationships will increase student engagement by allowing local members to come in and teach my students from time to time. As change agents, we are the foremost important of our roles as educators. We need to educate students and influence and intrigue them to take more care of our environment, as they need to act now for change which needs to be made now in the future towards creating a sustainable world.